Hey, welcome to Making Waves. This is episode 49. It's the ShipRocked podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media family and the fastest growing rock music podcast in the world. That's a fact, by the way. We've had nearly 6,000 downloads this year alone, and our community is larger and more involved than ever. Thank you so much for your support. And remember to review, rate, subscribe, and share. Tell all your friends about it. Tonight, well, we're featuring one of our favorite people in the world, and we're stoked to have him on board as a stowaway in 2022. It's Anthrax's Frank Bello. Frank, thank you, my friend, for coming.
Aloha. How are you?
Thanks for joining us on this. Listen, I'm gonna speak your praises real quick. Obviously, bassist, vocalist, songwriter for the band Anthrax, iconic. You guys are the purveyors of thrash metal and American hard rock, quite honestly, and metal for people in the 80s. And actually to modern times, you guys are still with us. And we're going to talk about something that's going on with you guys this summer regarding your 40 years in the business. But also now we can add author to the list of things you do.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that with your book coming up this fall, by the way. And we'll talk about all that, but we want to thank you for coming on here and really just helping spread the disease. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you for having me. It's, this is like a home away from home at this point. Congratulations on all the people getting into this, man. It's all good, man. It's well deserved. You guys are working it. So thank you. Thanks for having me on. And
no,
I'm looking forward to this thing already. So I'm ready to rock. I'm practicing songs.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, you're no stranger whatsoever. Obviously, 2014, 2015, you guys joined us for the Motorhead's Motorboats, which were just phenomenal. And sometimes I feel like it's a once in a lifetime thing, but we did it twice in a lifetime. So we were always stoked and we're honored that you guys were part of that, especially helping us at the last one, unfortunately, saying goodbye to our friend Lemmy. But and then we started in 2019 with Altitudes and Attitudes. So we thank you for that. And always great to hear you doing some Kiss.
Yeah, so. Always fun. Kiss is our common denominator. Right? Wherever we are, it's all about Kiss. It always goes back, and I still love that. And I'm sure on this next cruise is probably going to be some Kiss songs along the way, just to have fun and bring it up a little bit. Why not?
Yeah. So speaking of Kiss, let's go right into it. So your book coming up, Fathers, Brothers, and Sons. And should we go on with the rest? Surviving, what are we? Surviving anguish, abandonment, and anthrax.
Yeah, man.
With the forward by one Kiss's Gene Simmons.
Yeah, that was to be honest, man. That was an honor to get Gene to do it. My co-writer Joel MacGyver, who I don't know if you might know him from Bass Player Magazine.
Joel is very famous from classic rock, Metal Hammer, and so much more. He's quite honestly, one of the premier rock writers in England and the world. Quite honestly,
he's an old time friend of mine, and we've been trying to do this for a long time. And this book thing, because there's a lot in it, and I think people will dig it. It's not just your classic rock and roll book. There's rock and roll stories in it. There's some crazy stories that people don't know happen. And I went there. But on the other side, it's also really about how, like, my dad took off when I was 10 years old, right? Family of five. It's a little depressing for people, but you'll understand it for people who've been through it. He took off, a family of five, and kind of, it's how I came out of that and brushed myself off and said, he left us with no money. The whole thing, the whole game, man. Whatever you can put in your mind, it was really, really tough. So I just want people who have gone through something like this, or maybe something like that, or just any kind of problems in their life. I think there's a way to look at it and brush yourself off, and you can rise from it and rise from the ashes. I always say. So from reading this book, from writing this book, man, there was a lot going on. So talk about the Anthrax story. I'll tell you, man, even when I talk about it now, it's kind of weird because the unfortunate situation with my brother Anthony, he was 23 years old. He was murdered, gunshots. It was a really hard time. Going a couple of weeks later on tour with Anthrax from that was a really difficult time. And again, this is all about, I just want to pay it forward at this point and say, look, everybody's got these shit times in their life. You can brush yourself off and just move on. And there's a way to do it. And if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So again, it's got both. It's got like the kind of rock and roll stories in it, but it's also got the realism of life and how you can rise from it, rise from the ashes.
Well,
It's
I
very
think with you being
humanizing to hear you talk
yeah.
like that way. Sorry to, I mean, like, I read everything I could on the press releases side of the book, and there's a lot of stories that I didn't know about your life, and we could spend all day long talking about the history of Frank and Anthrax. But I think there's something extremely important inside of this story. Obviously, it's not available to read yet, but knowing that you're a human, just like you, just like myself and Justin and the people listening right now, and you went through tragedy. And on top of that, like, for instance, I didn't know that Charlie and you were related, in that how it all started at the very tippy top of, Anthrax's career, you being out on the road with your family, essentially, and then becoming the bass player, and then all this tragedy. I mean, I can't say enough, like, surprising moments in my, like, holy shit, wow, okay, this is going to be intense. And just coming from that perspective, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I've had a hard time in my youth. Nothing where I lost a sibling to murder, but lots of family members who have unfortunately passed away from tragedy, drug abuse, all of that stuff. And it made me feel like it made me feel as a fellow musician that, like, it's not just me,
It's not just you, man. And you know what it is? It puts us all together. There's so much tragedy, and in so many people's lives. The way I look at it, I felt this. I was low to the ground, man. And for me to actually do this and write a book, it was cathartic, because I think I needed to do it. And on the other side, look, if I can help one person get out of the gutter where they are and who's feeling really bad about what's going on in their life, and people around me who've read the book already, they're really high on it, and they said it's not, you don't want to call it a self-help book, but look, it makes you feel good, because look, at the end of the day, I don't want people feeling like shit. I just don't. There's too much of that, especially now. There's too much shit going on. So for me, it's not a negative book. It's like, dude, you can do this. Look, this is the shit I went through. I know we all have our stories, but this is my story, and I want you to know you can get through this and you can move on with your life. I'm telling you, things get better. And I tell you, a big part of it, dude, is music. Music is my outlet, and thank God for it, and thank God for the metal fans all around the world who just, like, one big support system. It's a big deal, and we all have this. It's a big deal to me, because these are smart, loving people, and people have to remember that. It's not just metal. These are good people here, man, and we all get it. And I'm very fortunate to have that in my life. I think we all are. We all came from this world of rock and roll and metal. And it was like a community. It's a community thing. We all grew up together with, and we all stick by each other. I think that's really cool, And when all this stuff happened with my brother and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of support from the fans, and I'll never forget that. But again, I want people to understand this is a book about, you can do it too. You can get to that place if you're in the gutter, man. It's not about you can be a bass player. You can do whatever you want to do in life, but you can get out of that position you're in if you're feeling low, and you can rise above it. And that's what it's about for me now.
I love that.
Well, I definitely think from the story, yes, there's a lot of death and despair in it, but I think at the end of the day, there's wisdom and life lessons that can help people move forward. So I think that's the big takeaway from the book.
Yeah.
The history of the band aside, you can find a lot of that in bios and things about metal, about what's going on with Anthrax and your genesis. But I think what the personal side of it is what's going to make this so appealing.
Yeah.
And something you recommend to folks once you read it, you say, hey, you really check out Frank's story, because it's beyond just him being a bass player in this incredible band.
Yeah.
It's about this life that we've all gone through at some point.
Right.
So kudos to you for doing it. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to relive those things in order to put it down on paper so people understand it. So that takes a lot of courage, man.
There's a lot of emotion, a lot of crying and all that stuff. And, also, it also takes me, just so you know, on the other side of things, it takes me through the career of my point of view and getting into Anthrax while I was a roadie, coming into the band, all that good stuff, the ride up, the vans and the touring vans and stuff like that, farting in the vans, a young band, all that stuff, all that good touring stuff. So there's a lot. And the people who've read it have really enjoyed the ride. I just say enjoy the ride, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of the ride, mid-July, July 16th, the Anthrax live stream celebrating 40 years of Anthrax.
Dude,
what was it?
Isn't that weird?
It's
You just said 40 years. You said 40
okay. Listen, I'm going to get personal with you here, bud. So in college, I had Anthrax posters on my wall. I mean, that's just sounds like a high school thing, right? Usually, like I got my Kiss posters up, right? I got my Anthrax posters up,
Thanks,
right?
bro.
That's Susie and the Banshees. I had to show I had an alternative side to the cool college kids, right? So anyway, so yeah, and I thought about the day when we were gonna talk with you, and I think, you know what, Frank doesn't. You never strike me as old, dude. You're one of the best stage performers I've ever been witness to.
Thank you, bro.
So
Very much.
yeah, and so there's the energy there. So when I think of Anthrax being 40 years, because that puts me at a certain age, I'm going, I don't feel that fucking old. I mean, is 54 old? Is that my must feel old? But listen, man, it's an incredible, just incredible point that you're still here and you're playing, and you guys are really playing better than ever.
Thank you, bro. You know what it is?
Yeah. So
when you hear it, it's crazy to hear that 40 number because it doesn't feel like that. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Well, but you kind of start going through your discography and go, yeah, it's been 40 years because there's a lot of output here. You can't do that much in 10 years. It takes 4 decades to get this much stuff out. Plus you throw in touring, a little time off. So what was the genesis of this?
It's the celebration of 40 years of this band being a band, really. And it is the genesis of it all. And look, I look back as you do. I look back at all the history because a lot of these things, like I'm watching all these videos that Anthrax is putting out now. We're putting all these little videos that are 15 minutes long that people are loving. It's a really cool thing, and YouTube and all that stuff. And I'm looking at the history and all the other bands, there's like famous bands, people in famous bands and famous people are talking great stories about Anthrax that I had no idea how they felt about it. It was such a cool thing, how it affected them. I thought that was such a cool thing. And even some of my band members, I don't think we ever talked about some of this stuff that I'm watching in the videos now. So it's kind of cool for me to discover this stuff. It's like, did you feel like that? Holy shit, dude, we never talked about that. And now we're like, reflecting on it. It's like, shit, dude, really? And I'm just enjoying, as a fan, I'm watching these things of our history. It's like almost watching, like you're a ghost. And you kind of watch it, you know what I mean? You kind of watch it, what's going, that happened? Holy shit. And you kind of watch it from afar. But yeah, I guess I was there. And, life goes by that fast though, right? And that's the lesson here. My God, dude, if anything, I see this thing now, 40 years, I'm hungrier now than ever to get another record out and well, obviously now we all want to get on the road. But my God, I can't wait to start this engine up again, and just make it run hard. That's the idea. So
it's really interesting is that you guys, part of the big four, Metallica, you guys, Megadeth, and a Slayer aside, you guys are all, it almost when I see you now, it's like you guys are kind of all in your prime again. It's like you found another gear, like Iron Maiden found another gear.
Yeah.
And quite honestly,
Thank you.
There's no real reason for Slayer to be done. But anyway, I digress.
Well, it's weird. I get it because they're all my friends, Slayer. I don't want
absolutely. And you guys did that tour with them, yeah.
I mean, we did Infinite tour. we did.
Yeah, but the last one, the last go around, I remember that. But
it's been such a fun ride with those guys. But look, the big four again. You got to tip your hat to Metallica, right?
Yeah.
The biggest band in the world does not need to have the big four. They could just do it on their own and play stadiums on their own. But they were smart and they were and they gave, I thought they gave us all a big shot to say, look, we grew up together in this business. We rose up together. Let's celebrate it. That was a big celebration. So when I see that ride, I mean, this thing with Anthrax, since that big four thing and Joey Belladonna came back in the band, it's been, dude, nonstop. And, my kid grew a couple of inches. I was away so much, It was one of those things. But
like, who are you? Why are you eating my food? Who are you?
It kind of is that, man. It's like, man, life goes like that. But it's been a great run. It's been a great, and the epitaph of the whole thing is it's been a great run, and I plan to continue it.
Yeah.
So when I'm reading this, today I was skimming through the Loudwire site, and it mentioned that the fans can, on top of purchasing the actual ticket to watch the live stream, you can also purchase a digital ticket to relive some of the band's 40 years of your existence. Am I understanding correctly that this is something that we haven't been seeing this kind of parlayed onto the internet in the last couple of weeks? Are the fans going to see stuff like never before seen?
There's a lot of, there's so much stuff. The editing for this stuff, first off, of those videos, there's so much stuff that we have to cut out. We don't want to, because there's so much extra stuff, and I think it's a shame that people have to miss it, because you only allowed so much time. People's attention span. I get it, but there's always more stuff. Right now, there's so much video stuff that we have. I want to see it, because there's just, as a fan, I kind of live through this stuff. It's like I want to, because that's interesting to me. For me, it's like, I'm a fan. I would say, well, what was that segment? I want to see that. And so there's always these new things. And Anthrax, I have to say, luckily, we're very hungry. I have to say this, the band internally, we're, like every other band right now who's itchy to get on the road, we're very hungry to be creative right now, new record, all that good stuff, and on the road. So I think it's really the best position to be in. It's the best atmosphere for some angry music coming out. I think that's really good, right? Good time.
Yeah. Timing is everything. I know I have a solution to your problem about too much footage. Anthrax 40.2.
Yeah.
Let's have number 2. Yeah, reboot.
Dude, I know. There's so much stuff, and I have to say, my poor manager, he's got more gray hairs now than ever, because he's had to deal with all this nonsense, all the editing. He's been on like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? I'm like, dude, oh no, enough. It's cool. It's all good now. There's a lot.
Don't let him kid you. He loves this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He does.
Hey, so let me ask you real quick about the live stream thing. And I don't want to, if there's a spoiler in this, because it's just me guessing. Are you guys going to do it?
I have to be careful. I better shut up, because I can't have a potty mouth that spews out stuff. So
well, no, this is my kind of dream scenario. You guys come out and do, I don't know, Armed and Dangerous, and you're wearing like bullet belts and leather vests. And then you guys kind of slide into the jams period. And then you kind of go, we're going to go back to the Persistence of Time look, all black.
How about this, dude? I'll be honest with you. All I know is I went back and I had to relearn a lot of good stuff. All right? I'll leave it there. I had to learn a lot of good stuff. And I'm telling you, my friend Justin, are going to be happy because I had to go back and relearn this. Oh my God, and you get into it again. You just start listening to old stuff again. And you said, oh man, I'm digging this. It's like, I won't name the songs, but dude, you are going to like.
No, I can look, I'm going to buy it and watch it and enjoy it and go, yep, everything. Yeah. Matter of fact, when we're done tonight, I'm going to go back and watch the old Madhouse video just because.
I'll join you.
Yeah, that's another big thing. All those old videos, man. Those are most of our friends in the
classic
video. The Madhouse video. That's all our friends. It's great, dude. So much fun.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be, right? I mean, I always look at those videos and I'm like, I wonder if they know each other. But like hearing, like knowing what I've done with mine, I'm like, yes, I definitely know that. I had to beg these people to come out back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So like, knowing that what happens in the behind the scenes, you're just like, yeah, this is their friends. This is real. This is all part of their DNA, and we're watching it real time. Especially when you think about metal and rock bands. There's nobody being like, let's hire these background actors. You're calling up your family or your friends or whatever. You're like, I need you here at 2:00, man. We need 1,000 people in this show. That sort of shit's amazing,
And thank God for our friends. All that whole Madhouse video, that's all our friends. I mean, our good friends, our tight that brought us up, and all that stuff that we grew up with. That's my cousin Dennis is in it. Oh my, you grab anybody, dude. But you know what happens? Then when you start going along, and all of a sudden you get a record company, and then we went to a bigger record company, and they start saying, "Well, central casting, we have this guy because he looks like a certain thing." Central casting shit. What is this shit? Just put some people in. I don't give a shit. But that happens along the way. That's part of the game, or it did. That's how it used to be.
Right.
Hey guys, let me take a real quick commercial break, and then I want to talk about something that we talked about with Corey Glover.
Hemorrhoids?
And do what now?
Hemorrhoids?
Oh yeah, that's we all talk about that after 40. Anyway, hey folks, at this time we'd like to remind you that not only are you listening to a kick-ass podcast right now, but we also produce an amazing rock-themed vacation called ShipRocked. will be sailing to Costa Maya and Cozumel on the 12th voyage in January of 2022. Sail away into metal oblivion with Lamb of God, I Prevail, From Ashes to New, Steel Panther, and more. Well, including our friend here, Frank Bello. Cabins are still on sale at ShipRocked.com. Go get them before they're all gone. So we were talking to Corey, oh God, probably last part of the year, or was it early part of the year, Chad? And we brought up L'Amour, which obviously is very pivotal in the career of Anthrax. Do you have any one great story from there that you could tell us about?
From what? You cut out when you said that.
From L'Amour. The famed L'Amour, yeah.
L'Amour's, of course. L'Amour.
Yeah.
I didn't even get that, but it cut out. I'm having a little interference with my internet, so I apologize.
Okay.
L'Amour's in Brooklyn we're talking about, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my first show. Just so you know, we're going back. That was my first show.
That is pivotal. It's very pivotal then.
Yeah, so that's pretty pivotal. Coming from my room in the Bronx, right, to a band, Anthrax, my first band. It's like a first girlfriend, dude. So you come in and they're playing this famous rock club, you know, one of the most famous rock clubs in the world. And that was my first show. And it's on YouTube somewhere. You could see Frank from the Guido haircut that I had coming into it. And me not knowing anything. I just came from my room. My stage was my fucking bed in my room. I mean, literally, that was my stage. So I did all my Steve Harris and Paul Stanley and all my Gene Simmons, all those moves that I wanted to learn and put into my vibe, right? So I would come off my big move. I always say this in my clinics. I would come off. I'd be playing like Killers, like I'd be jamming the Killers on my vinyl turntable right there, right? So I'm jamming it, and all of a sudden, and I'd be on top. Can you see me right now? So imagine me on top of my bed in my room in the Bronx, and I'm doing this, right? I'm playing The Garden, dude. That's fucking sold out in my mind, right? It's sold out. So and I'm all of a sudden I just jump off. My big move is jumping off my bed, and and that's it. So that's what, and I went straight from that room right to L'Amour's at I think it was 18 years old. So for my first show, and dude, if you see that video, you could probably see the shit stain in the back of my pants.
I literally was gonna say, so how many pairs of underwear did you go through that night?
Dude, I was so fucking nervous. But I say this in the book. No shameless plug. That's a real deal. I say this in the book. The first song was Death Rider. You know the song Death Rider?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, all I knew to do was, Frank, if you fuck up, just keep headbanging, right? So the first song, I'm headbanging really hard, right? And I feel this fucking snap burn in my neck. Like bad. I'm like, bad, first song, first show. And I'm like, oh my God, did I snap something in my friggin' neck? The adrenaline, thank God for adrenaline, dude, because all I said, I don't care. I'm not letting this go. I'm not letting, all it was just persistence, man. By the third song, it started letting up. The third song, the second song, fucking sucked. It sucked. It was killing me. I said, what the hell? I said, I'm going to the hospital. I'm thinking during the show, I'm going to the hospital right after. It'll be all right, Frank. Thank God it just went away. And I iced it down later. I was swollen. My neck was swollen after that show. It was crazy.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember who was on the bill with you guys? I
don't. That's a great question. That's a really great question. I bet you somebody
out there knows. And Laz Rocket or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Dude, a lot of great bands came out of there, man. A lot of good friends and L'Amour's, man. Let's face it, that was the place. That was a lot of fun. Good times.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're live now. So everyone on Facebook Live, thank you for joining us. We're spending this hour with Frank Bello of Anthrax. Make sure and check this full episode out when it drops this Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever you get podcasts. And also look for us on YouTube at some point. Anyway, we're here talking to Frank about all things, his book. Real quick cap on that. Guys, Fathers, Brothers, and Sons will be coming out October 12th. And that's through Rare Bird is the publisher on that one. So look for that one. You definitely want to get it and make sure and go back and listen to the first half an hour of this. And you're going to find out how in-depth that book is. And now we're just talking about all things Anthrax and everything else that Frank has going on in his life. So one last thing before we get back to Frank. Remember, guys, walk the plank tonight. Best question to Frank. Win something. You win a big prize, guys. $50. $50. You want that, right? $50. Excellent. So we'll continue.
After tax, that's $27, right?
That's right. There is a shipping fee.
Yes. And I mean, while we're at it, we're talking about the book. They got They got a live stream. Anthrax has a live stream coming up, a big one, 40th anniversary. It's going to be on July 16th. If you haven't got your tickets yet, go over to anthrax.com. Am I correct?
Thank you for that. Yes, and a lot of songs, dude. I'm just telling you, the amount of songs I had to learn. I haven't played that much bass in a long time. Look, I love bass. It's my instrument. I love it. But to go back and just relearn your youth, it was kind of cool because it just reminded me of how great of a ride it's been. I think the people that watch this thing are really going to be surprised because there's so many great songs. I mean, as a fan, I'm saying that because I'm an Anthrax fan, not only in the band, but I rhymed just now. But I'm just saying it's so cool because to go back, I think we're going to surprise a lot of people with some of these songs.
You're primarily a finger player too, right? But you also use the pick. So are you finding yourself? That's what my mind immediately went to, like, oh man, those old songs that you haven't played in a long time. Are you gonna, like, if you used to play them with a pick, are you gonna go finger? Like, that's such a huge thing for a bass player. I just got to know, like, what you're.
I love the question. I love the question. First off, I play both. I'm a main finger player. That's where my most comfortable stuff is. But for these songs, I'd rather bleed to death than not play with my fingers because for me, it's Anthrax. It has to be with my fingers and all that stuff. I think like a song like Gung Ho, that's really fast. I like I like keeping up with the picking of Scott. So I'll play with the pick, but that's, there's other songs that I just need to just feel, through the fingers. I think that's really important. So yeah, everything. Look, you play this many songs, your fingers are going to tighten up. Your arm, what happens? Your arm tightens up, and at the end of the day, you start talking to your arm. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck it. You better loosen that shit up. I'm playing. And and the older you get, it's like, fuck you. I'm playing. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be there playing the show. You fucking come with me or not. That's the way it's going to be. So you start talking, and somehow your mind cures all, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Do you make fun of your arm beforehand? Like, come on, you pussy.
Oh, dude, it's me and him. It's like, what are you doing? Are you is that a muscle pull? Fuck you. It's not going to happen. All that stuff. So all this yoga shit and all this stuff I do, right? It leaves me all of a sudden. It's like, I just worked out forever and you're leaving me now? What happened? But
hey, speaking of yoga, so you will be joining us then on yoga mornings on the cruise then, right?
Didn't I do that one time? And I don't think I could get a spot the last time I tried on ShipRocked.
Oh, we will clear out a spot for you, my friend. We certainly will.
There's nothing like Dude, there's nothing like being back, because I go to my yoga class here. I haven't done it in a while, but I'm going to go back. Nothing like going back and staying back with somebody who's farting right in front of you on the yoga mat.
Yo, it's perfect. Yeah, you get plenty of that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the move. No, you fucking have gas. Stop farting in my fucking face, man.
You're like, I woke up this early for this? Oh my God.
So real quick, Chad, you want to ask Frank about his former ShipRocked and or motorboat experiences?
Yes, I do actually. So my old band Wilson, we played one of the motorboats and we played with you guys. And Wilson played the ShipRocked a few times, and I've been in the Stowaways. My question comes down to, because we performed together in the Stowaways, and one of the things that I have so much anxiety going into those things, because I'm just like, I'm the guppy in here and I'm looking on stage, I'm like, no, I'm gonna fuck this up so bad, my anxiety just takes over and I just lose it, but like the years and years, for instance, you've been in Anthrax pretty much since the beginning, but you also had to spend some time playing with Paige in Helmet and like moving your like entire DNA over to another place's like DNA. It's got to be a fucking jarring thing after that time. But you seemingly walked on stage every time that I've seen you perform in that situation, like you were the fucking rug that tied the room together. You were the Big Lebowski, and like I just felt like everything just kind of felt like, if he's cool, I think everybody's cool. Like, how do you feel about that shit, man? Like, for real.
Thank you for the compliment. First off, I love jamming, dude. I love people. I love that connection with the audience. I love that we have that energy. We perform, right? We're up there on the stage, but the energy comes from the audience, and we all build this great energy. That's what I've always seen. We build this audience. We build the energy with the audience together as performer and the audience. So we build this one great vibe to get us all high. That's why it's one big party. That's why we all love like live rock shows. I just saw on Sunday. I just saw the Foo Fighters at the Garden, dude. I'm
Oh
telling
yeah.
you, that energy, the energy in that crowd, from the band to the crowd, it was one. It was one, and that's something I've always longed for. I mean, that's why I wanted to do this thing. You know, it makes total sense. So that the whole ShipRocked thing, this Stowaway thing is a great thing because it's getting to jam with different people, right? We jam and we just have a blast. We pick out songs out of the blue, right? It doesn't matter what song it is. You know it's going to be a great jam and a party, and the people, they'll know the song, and everybody will have this really great vibe, and that's what the whole ShipRocked vibe is about.
Totally. And then you're looking out from the stage and you're seeing the people. And then like these shows are always like the most raved about thing on the ship. And then when you leave the ship, all you can think about, like I said, even the Guppy dude, I'm like, holy fucking shit, I just played with Frank Bello. That's fucking crazy, you know? But that moment of watching those people just, like you said, feel as one. Like it felt like all of the fear that I had at rehearsal, right? It went away, and it's like, it's all good. These people know the fucking words. If I don't, you know, like,
exactly.
Let's just party, you know? And
you know what, dude? You know what's funny? The people don't know behind the scenes that we should talk about is the rehearsal. That's more intimidating than anything, right?
Oh, fuck. Scary.
Right?
It's so scary.
Like you're getting called up by the school marm. Come up here, Frank. You're going to be with your buddy over here. Whoever that might be.
The room of your peers just like, fuck up, please. Oh my God, please fuck up. You know?
Because it's so, you're just being mixed together. If people out there don't know what happens in the rehearsal, you're meeting everybody sometimes for the first time. Sometimes you're friends with them, it's great. But at other times you're just meeting people that you're jamming with. They put us all together and jam with different, which is cool. You kind of jam with different people, so it's a cool vibe. But it's also really intimidating like the first day of school or something like that. It's like, oh shit, man, is this guy cool? Is it, you know, you start to feel each other out and stuff like that. It's like, all right, what does he know? Does he know this song? Is he really taking this serious? You know, all that shit goes through your head. And then after that, the show, it's almost like a relief because all the rehearsal's done, right? And then we get this fun show. The people raging out there. For me, I just want to have a good time with people. I want to make people have a great time. It's their week off from work. Let's fucking party, man. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, one of the other things that people, I'm sure they already know that your bandmate Joey's going to be joining us as well. So
I heard Mr. Belladonna's going to be there, and you know,
yeah.
Joey could sing the book. Joey,
oh yeah, forget about it.
I mean, look, not because he's the singer of Anthrax. I'm just a fan of his voice. The dude could sing from Journey to Sabbath. He can do everything, which is kind of fun as a fan. I just want to watch. So even on this time, I hope I can just get to watch Joey sing. You know, it'd be fun.
Well, we'll just say,
that's
Danny,
so cool
don't pair them,
all these
please.
Years too, that you're like pumped. You're like, you know, like you got your dude's back too. You know, like that's fucking really cool to hear, man. Like, seriously,
Thank you, but it's just the truth, man. Again, dude, we're all just fans. What happened? You get shocked? What happened there?
My Siri just went off. That was super strange.
Oh, man. I thought you got shocked. Like somebody shocked your ass or something right there.
Oh, I felt like it. I was like, what is that noise? Sorry about that.
Well, listen, you guys want to play a little bit of Walk the Plank before we continue on with the conversation?
Go for it. I'm in. Whatever.
All right. So again, the premise here, Frank, is that we're going to ask you 3 random questions. Chad has one, I have one, and then I've picked one, Chad, if you don't mind, from our audience submissions.
I love that.
Yeah. And so, you know what? Why don't we let the ShipRockers start? So this is Karen. Now, Karen last week gave us a good one, and she must work on the stuff all week. Her homework is good. Anyway, Frank, the question is this. If you could be cast in any movie, what movie would it be? And who would you play in that movie and why?
That's a great question. You know, there's a couple of movies that are my favorites and probably everybody's favorite. There's Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
And there's The Godfather, right? So, and there's also a third one is because it goes back to the Italian thing, I guess. It's Goodfellas. So what do you do? I mean, for me, I want to be the fourth. I want to be the fourth on the boat in Jaws. There's a fourth guy. I'm just cleaning up shit. I just want to go and hang out. I'll do the chum. I'll do everything. I'll cut up the fish. I'll do whatever I have to do.
Would that have been? Remember when Quint had his little his boat mat, the little boat guy with him? He seemed to disappear.
What happened with it? I'll be that guy. I have no problem being that guy. But
you don't want to be Murray Hamilton. You don't want to be Mayor Vaughn.
I love Murray. Murray was great. I love the suit he had on with the.
Dude, I want to be one of his blazers. I want to be his go to hell blazer.
That's it for me. I'm good with that. So I would absolutely want to be the fourth mate of on the boat of the orca in Jaws. I would love to do that because I just want to watch and I want to piss off Quint. That's what I just do shit all day to piss off Quint. I love Quint.
Man,
I love the whole thing.
Yeah, but it's from from moment one to the end when they're just paddling in and wondering what date is. It's A plus, A plus, A plus.
Yeah, and plus I would have been dead because it would be just those two paddling. So I would have been on, I would have been.
Maybe you were the guy holding the camera during all this. You were just basically the guy making home movies for him.
The DP.
I'm in. You know what? This is a casting thing. On the next, somebody's going to try to redo. Unfortunately, somebody's going to try to redo Jaws in this lifetime.
Spielberg put the kibosh on that yesterday. He said he's not going to allow it.
Yesterday.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
Because it's the 46th anniversary.
Yeah.
He's like, man, it ain't going to happen. Not while I'm alive. So if someone will just wait until he passes, and
but somebody's going to
maybe one of his kids, could be his proxy and say, no. Will never happen.
There should be no such thing in this lifetime. Jaws the reboot. That should never ever be said or done in my life.
You know why? Because they'll put the fucking Rock or someone in there. No disrespect to the gentleman, but give me a break. Give me a break.
You're absolutely
the only
right,
person
though.
that could play Quint. The only person that could play Quint is Mads Mikkelsen. You know that? Yeah, that's the only guy who could play it to be crazy enough. Because Richard Harris is dead, so you can't use him.
That's true. Wow.
Yeah.
It's what. I can't even think about another cast right now. I would never. It's so embedded in my brain. I can never, go outside the box.
Well, who's the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? They get Charlie. He'd be a good little hooper if he could just get a little smarter.
But even Dreyfuss, man, I met him one time at one of these Comic-Con things. The dude said,
"Oh my God, he did it! He did one
for 15 minutes, man. He sat me down for 15 minutes just talking, and the guy was just an honest. He was just happy to be there in Jaws and stuff like that. You heard all the stories and stuff. He didn't want to do it, and he did it. All that stuff, and it became a huge hit. It was all honest. He told me all that stuff. He goes, yeah, and he was concerned. Richard Dreyfuss, when I spoke to him for my 15 minutes with him, and because people were on the line, it's the same thing with Gavin McLeod. They sat me down. I was talking Mary Tyler Moore with him the whole time. It was great, but Dreyfuss kept me going, and he says, what's going on with the music today? Why is it so electronic? And he's all this stuff, dude. I said, dude, I don't know. I'm in a metal band. I don't know why it's electronic, but I listen to metal. And
I love that he's so cued into what's going on.
Dude, he was interested on it. He was like, what's going on with the music today? Why is it so electronic sounding? I was like, well, this technology, dude. That's what it is.
Do you think in Close Encounters when they did dun, 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 that's what got him into electronic music right there? That was with the origin of electronic music. That was Kraftwerk before Kraftwerk.
Dude, one of my favorite movies he was in, and I told him this, was The Goodbye Girl.
You ever is that the Woody Allen film?
Yeah. First off, yeah, it was no, it wasn't a Woody Allen film. It was Marsha Mason.
Yeah.
We're dating ourselves here, but Marsha Mason and him and Dreyfuss. But check this out. In that film, you know who was the original lead in that before Dreyfuss?
Woody Allen.
No, you'll never guess. And he got fired. I couldn't believe when I found this out. Take the biggest actor in the world.
Is it so? Okay, can I ask real quick? Is it someone who's similar to him?
No, the opposite. The opposite.
Gene Hackman.
No. You want to tell
Steve
you?
Martin. Oh yeah.
No.
But you're going comedy. Robert De Niro.
Oh, okay.
Right? Isn't that crazy? He was cast in that, and it just wasn't working.
What year was that?
God, it was 70s. I don't know. It was in the mid-70s.
So he already had Taxi Driver and was he in Godfather 2?
Yeah, I think it was after that.
Okay, so he already had some stuff under.
Might have been right after Taxi Driver, actually. Might have been right after Taxi Driver.
That's a hell of a casting call, though. Hey, let's put Dreyfuss in it.
Right?
The Mohawk guy, the crazy. Yeah,
Dude.
Let's do that. He's up for a comedy. He's up for a romance, isn't he?
It's awesome though. I still love that movie. I love what Dreyfuss does. He's still great. So it's all good.
That's hysterical. Well, Karen, there you go. You won again, darling. You're going to be raking it up. You don't have to work anymore. You can just live off us.
Yeah. T-shirts.
Quit your job.
Just eat the cloth. You'll be just fine.
That's right. All right. Chad, you're up to bat, buddy.
All right, man.
What do you got for Frank?
So my question is, if you could give all human beings, not just one, and just us as a whole entire species race, what have you, one virtue, which one would you pick?
That's a great question. Nowadays, one virtue. It sounds like a weird thing right now. I think people, and it sounds like I'm an old man, but I'm going to say this because I think forgiveness.
Love it.
Forgiveness, man. I know it's deep. And young people don't want to hear that right now. But there's a lot of people fucking killing each other, just ready to attack somebody right next to them. And I think people need to realize we're all just people. And I'm not, that guy, but I just want people to like other people nowadays. I just think it's important. Look, I have a 15-year-old son, and I want to see people just like other people. I think it's really important for our future, and I look towards that. I want people on the crew, on this cruise, to like each other. I just think that, look, all right, the guy made a comment, whatever the hell he is, don't jump on his back. Maybe he was in a bad mood that day. You know what I mean? That forgiveness thing comes out. Let it go, man, because the rest of it's all bullshit.
That's a really good point. What we are always just told of in the media, because they just want to focus on the bad, is there's the small minorities, the ones that's always fighting. The people I meet in your everyday life, in your neighborhood, you're walking around, it's like, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? That's what's really going on.
Yes, and
they just don't want that to know what's going on.
Dude,
yeah.
Like a PE says, don't believe the hype. For me, you got to block out all that shit now, because humanity is more important. For me, that's what I'm thinking, man. It's like humanity is more important. It's just like, you can't listen to this negativity shit. Just live your life. Everybody live their life. Don't think outside. Like, don't listen to these people coming from the outside. Think for yourself. Really, that's my thing.
All right, listen. My question is about, well, would you rather lose the ability to read or the ability to speak?
I've done both. That's a really hard one. That's a great question. Wow, that's so deep, man. At least I would have the knowledge. If I can still read. That's the way I look at it. At least I would have the knowledge, and I could still learn. Speaking, I can get around that. I'd learn how to do that. But yeah, I want to keep learning. I think it's important that people just keep learning and making things better in life. I think that's much more important. That's a great question, though. Great.
Plus, we could always outfit you with a sandwich board.
Like a sign? Here comes Frank.
Do it, Justin. You got me.
2 pieces of white chalk.
There you go.
Going in. Yeah, all right. Here we go. Right.
Anyway, hey, so Frank, okay, obviously we've got the book to look forward to. We've got the live stream. What else, if it's even being kicked around, what do you guys got going on as far as the band, live shows, any new recordings?
First, I'll go to the book. When I'm kicking around right now, and I think some of the great people from ShipRocked might let me actually do like an open mic kind of vibe and talk about one night on the boat. Maybe
absolutely.
I'll sing some songs that were inspired by the book, all that stuff. Some altitudes and attitudes songs. That's what we're talking about, and promoting the book. And as far as Anthrax, we are working on a new record, I'm happy to say. And like we were talking about before, Justin, it's a good time to write music, I think, because there's so much pent up stuff in all of us, right? And I think that just leads to great metal, great music, and just the angst coming out of us into a song. I think that's very important. There's a lot to get out for everybody, not only the bands, but I think for people listening, for fans listening. I think it's going to be a great time I want to hear everybody's record. I want to hear, because I'm sure there's going to be some great stuff coming out. So I'm looking forward to not only us, just hearing I want this whole thing to rise again. We need to get back on the road. We need to see shows. I want things back to normal. So I'm looking forward to the future, man.
Yeah, it's healthy too. It's so healthy to get out. Pent up doesn't have to mean anger. It can just be total health. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it just
absolutely.
means it's time. It's time. Let's fucking do this, man. It's all positive. Pent up, man. It's a positive way to get out. I want to get this out of me. It doesn't have to be angry. Just fucking
Yeah.
let's have a good time. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Frank, we've had you almost an hour, bud, and we
Really?
can't thank you. Yeah, almost an hour, man.
That was
Chad,
quick,
did
dude.
you have any? It was quick because the conversation was robust and a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Here, bro.
And
Thank you.
we can't wait for everyone to check this out. Come this Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Check that out on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. Chad, did you have any last words for Frank?
I'm just excited to see you on the boat, man. I can't wait to party down with you and
we gonna jam?
do the damn thing.
Are you up?
I'm up for jamming. I will jam anytime.
All right, so now we know each other. We don't have to feel that weirdness.
Yeah.
Does this guy know what he's doing? Yeah. So listen,
like,
I
shit,
love the
it's this guy
fact,
again.
Frank, that you came up with you just gave us some programming for the cruise, and I think that's going to be an incredible event for people to be a part of and see
fun.
you do.
It's
Yeah.
as
So,
you know, Justin, it'll be some fun and ball busting as usual. It'll be a lot of good times. Period.
Hey man, we're in the middle of the ocean. Let's just go for it. Let's just
Exactly.
World's our oyster. Yeah. So guys, July 16th is the Anthrax 40th anniversary live stream. You can still get tickets at anthrax.com for that. Make sure and check it out. If you're a longtime fan or a new fan, and you're big on the catalog, from what we've been told, they play a lot of obscure and songs you may not have heard in a long time. So it's a lot of stuff to pack into 40 years. October 12th is the book Fathers, Brothers, and Sons. That's going on Rare Bird. So you can go to rarebird.com, I think, and pre-order that book right now. And I think you can
do
get
that right now. And Amazon.
Too.
And Amazon. Thank you for that.
If you go to Rare Bird, you can get a signed copy.
You can do that.
Order early. And of course, we have this gentleman coming on ShipRocked with us here in January 2022. We can't get here fast enough.
All right.
Frank Bello, buddy, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And this has been a fantastic hour. Thank you, sir.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. Chad, awesome as usual. Thank you so much. Looking forward to hanging with you boys. We're going to have some good times. And everybody,
yes, sir.
Can't wait to see you all on ShipRocked. This is going to be a blast. Good times ahead.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for paying attention tonight on Facebook Live. If you guys missed it, or you have some friends that couldn't get to it because they're working or with their family or whatever, they can watch this. It now lives on Facebook Live forever, so they can go back and watch it.
So tight.
So, anyway, thanks, Frank.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
All right, bud.
Peace.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Sorry,
How was
I
that?
muted
All
my
right.
mic
You guys
'cause
good?
The dog is barking. If that comes out to be weird, it was like so loud, so I apologize.
No, that man, Frank, dude, we could have just had a Jaws episode. I'm gonna do that one day. Next time, it's just Jaws, baby.
I'm in. We can do that. We can easily do
Dude,
that.
the idea of being a fourth member, the phantom member of their little gang, would have been perfect. But
Good
yeah,
time.
dude. So Spielberg, he kiboshed them talking because Universal was talking noise about it.
I
And he's
didn't know.
like, no, yeah, no way.
Of course
You've done the Meg and all this other bullshit.
Ugh.
Sharks are done. The one has been done. You don't need any more.
They'll never get
Even
it right.
two.
Dude.
2 is okay, but it's a different thing. It's that one girl screaming that was living on the catamaran. The one that just, dude.
Dude, I just saw a photo of her on one of these websites of that.
Like a
chick,
recent
right?
one?
Yeah,
Recent?
that chick,
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's an old picture of her, but she's in
Mhm.
front of the camera. The camera's right, like where my hand is right here, dude. And she's literally, there's no dialogue or anything. She's just, you know how annoying her scream was? Remember how annoying she just didn't shut up, right? It was like that took over the movie. She was she was about 3 feet from the that poor cameraman. Always think of him as this guy. He must be saying, shut the hell up. You're overacting. Shut up! You know?
We got it.
You got it. You don't have to do more. Stop. It's the shark we're talking, not you. It's the shark, all right? So that's my thing. I'm sorry. It drove me crazy, dude.
I love it.
Now I got 100.